Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be starting our final unit for fifth grade math, which we did not get to during inside the classroom. So we're going to be talking about geometry. So we're going to use this PowerPoint to talk about this. I'm also going to link this PowerPoint into the email, so if you need to go back, you can. So let's start off with, what is geometry? Geometry is a branch of mathematics that measures and compares. So today we're going to talk about points, lines, and angles. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about shapes and how to classify them. And so to classify something means to put it in groups. So during science, when we talked about the food chain and all of that, we classified animals into herbivores, omnivores, and carnivores based on what they ate. And in geometry, we're going to classify shapes on the different types of lines and angles that they have. So let's just go ahead and jump right in to talking about the basics, which are points. So a single exact location in space. So we talked yesterday about graphing points on a graph, and if you did some of those worksheets, you created shapes using those points. And so a point is just representing one spot. Now, a line is a straight path that is made with endless points. Now, the important thing to notice on this line is that there are arrows on either side, because in order to be considered a line, it is ongoing, okay? So you'll see that there are two labeled points, A and B, but when we talk about the line, you'll notice down here, go ahead and circle that the line AB has arrows on either side, because that means that the line is ongoing, that it's just going to continue indefinitely. If we want to talk about the line as a segment, okay, so you'll see that in the same spot in that green, right here, now instead of being a line, this is a line segment, because it is just talking about this part of the line. All right. So so this spot A to B is a line segment, right? So from point A to point B, that is your line segment. And we use line segments to make shapes, okay? Because lines aren't going to make shapes because they go on forever. So let's look at, we're going to need to erase this, some different types of lines. Parallel lines. So when we're talking about parallel lines, which is a vocabulary word that is going to help us tomorrow when we're classifying shapes, okay? So if you have a notebook at home, parallel lines would be a good word to write down. And the definition is a pair of lines on the same plane that are the same exact distance apart and never intersect. So now when we're talking about planes, that's talking about when you were plotting points yesterday. Okay, so in our gizmo, we talked about avenue versus street, right? Which was the X and the Y axis. And so if you have two lines, say on X, and it goes on 2, or let's talk about it as Ave and street. So if you have a bunch of buildings on 2nd Ave, and then there's one on each of the streets, and then again on 4th Ave, and one on each of the streets, those would be parallel lines. So this video is going to end, and I will pick up in the next video.